we say that like traffickers have had about a 2,000-year head start. There are so many groups already engaged in the fight that know exactly how to make the biggest difference possible. Which kid do I feed today, and which one has to go in this job opportunity?
I'm trying to find, where's our normal layout here? Where we're 4 up. Oh, there it is. I got it.
Gosh, Ray,
Right,
you are
sorry.
the tech guy.
Sorry.
You're
Isn't this like
supposed
episode
to have this
4 or
together.
5? Like,
This is episode 4, and so in between, so I do my Wednesday show, and then I have like an hour to return all of the phone calls and to do all of the,
I'm sorry, please
everything
don't
that
act like you're popular right now. Like,
I have 25,
so many people trying to get in contact with me.
It's not all. I have 25 deals that are currently pending, and so in the morning, and all this stuff happens. I'm doing normal business stuff, and then I have to do the podcast, and then in between there and now, I have an hour to return everything and eat. And so today I made the choice to return everything. So I got all the phone calls, set at everything. Haven't eaten. I'm a little shaky, but I'm ready to go.
I got coffee.
low blood sugar.
You should
Something
just
get Ray
do
a
what I
snack.
do and just eat on camera, because
That
apparently
is
that's
what you
my
did
thing.
last
That only works if Ray lets us all in so we can see you. Like, I couldn't see anybody, so I had no idea what you were doing.
That was so funny.
There's no behind the scenes Instagram photo this week.
No, I turned my camera off. I was like,
Damn
I
it.
don't know when I'm going to come back on, so I'm just going to have this off and do my own thing. Not be judged by people that I can't
That's
see.
So funny that you have no idea. Yeah. Maybe you should have turned it all on so we knew that all the audio worked.
Well, there was that.
Okay, I'm gonna make sure my video's on 4K or whatever the highest def is that we got there.
I don't think we have 4K. I think it's just 1080.
It's okay. It'll compress it down. It'll make us all level. All right. Who's got the guest?
I do.
Yay!
Which is why I asked at the beginning of all this, is my guest
is
backstage?
your guest backstage? Yes. Makes sense.
So yeah, our guest today could save your life or take you out. So mind your P's and Q's today, guys.
Wow.
He began as a firefighter in the Air National Guard, where he is still currently enlisted as a public affairs supervisor. He's a bit of a foodie and has seen a good chunk of the world. His company and Bobcat are the only companies with headquarters in Fargo and Korea, the good side of Korea.
Interesting.
Gotta specify. When he is not spending time with his wife and kiddos, he is actively fighting against human trafficking. Please help me welcome Than Baardson, the CEO and co-founder of Unseen.
Wow.
Dan.
What's
Hey
going
guys,
on?
good to see you.
Wow, it's good to see you, man. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. Congrats on the podcast.
Thank you very much. It's been fun.
That was quite an intro.
Yeah. He can.
Yeah, man, you made that sound
he
good.
could save your life or take you out. It's like, oh,
Bobcats
out
and
for
human
coffee,
trafficking.
out for
Very
sushi.
generous
Where are we
of you.
going? Where are we going out?
Should we be excited? Should we be terrified? I'm not sure.
It depends on you. It depends on what you're doing.
Hopefully nothing bad.
There you go. So
Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all.
Where do you live?
I'm currently in Fargo, North Dakota.
Okay, so you live where your headquarters are too.
That's right. Yep. Fargo's been our base. I would say we started in Fargo and Seoul, Korea. We have partners actively working in 53 countries around the world. And our headquarters are here by design, and allows us to get away for the winter a little bit. Last year, family and I got to go live in Chiang Mai, Thailand for the month of January. So
Oh.
that's the plan again this year.
I've been to Thailand a couple of times. I love it.
Did you get up to Chiang Mai?
No, we were in Bangkok the whole time. I went for 2 summers to Bangkok.
All right. Well, now you got an in. Let me know when you want to go.
I know, for real. I would love to.
It is gorgeous. So it's a strategic place for us to locate as well. Because if you go about a 400-mile radius, you are into a lot of countries that our partners are working in. And everybody comes to Chiang Mai. So we get a lot done when we're there.
So Chiang Mai, is that that's the place to go, not Bangkok?
You know, Bangkok is not a great town. It's got some shady parts to it. Chiang Mai is quite the opposite. It's a gorgeous place. We love it.
Shady parts is an understatement for a lot of Bangkok.
It's Bangkok.
Yeah.
It's Bangkok.
we were at a university there for a couple of summers.
Oh,
so-
okay. Yeah, I mean, yes, it's got some shady parts like any
Yeah.
town. It is full of some incredible people, and there's some great stuff there as well.
I'm
That's
writing
cool.
down Chiang Mai, not shady, because we've never
notes.
been and we want to go. It's on the list, and so
Yeah.
one of our old friends retired here. He's an old army guy, and he retired. He met his wife, and he actually went to high school in Thailand. So he went back as soon as he retired, and he wants us to go visit, but I've never been, so I'm just making
Take
some
him up
notes.
on it. Yeah.
Do you speak Thai or no?
No.
Okay.
No. I speak forming key relationships with people around the world that can
They could talk Thai.
help me navigate. Yes.
That's very smart. So how
He's
long
like, I'm
have
going
you
to outsource this.
Right.
And Becca may already have questions, so I don't want to step on your toes. But how long have you been doing Unseen?
Unseen, we started in 2011 officially. I think early morning coffee shops were probably closer to 2010, and made the leap in 2011. Started working. I mean, straight out of the gate was about a 27-day trip across Thailand, Cambodia, Korea, and actually into Burma. And so that's where some of those early partnerships formed, really, worked out. What is this, support only style of fighting human trafficking look like? How do we get a model in place? And yeah, from there, partners started coming out of the woodwork, really. And we've gotten just an amazing front row view of some of the greatest work on the planet.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And something that's largely not talked about again until recently.
Yeah, look at it from even the political side is the State Department didn't have the Trafficking in Persons Office in place until the year 2000. And so, we say that like traffickers have had about a 2,000-year head start, if not more.
Wow.
And so for those on the anti-trafficking side, they need to be well-funded and well-connected, because traffickers are certainly well-funded. I mean, this is $150 billion a year criminal activity, and they're incredibly well-networked. So we're here to serve partners who are already engaged in the fight, who are ready to grow. We're support only. So we give them everything that they need to go increase their capacity, raise more dollars, and help more kids.
Would you say that that's one of the key differences between Unseen and some of these other trafficking awareness or fighting programs, is that you guys are focused mainly on supporting other smaller organizations versus like going in and doing everything yourselves?
Exactly. Yep. We are support only, and that is by design. Because what we found was there are so many groups already engaged in the fight that know exactly how to make the biggest difference possible. But when you've got a line of, let's say, 100 kids needing help, oftentimes they're not prioritizing marketing pieces, the fundraising materials to break out of their own cycles of poverty to ultimately go help more people. And so they're stuck in their own financial ruin. We get to come alongside these vetted partners. Once they make it in, like they are in. And it works. Last year, we saw a 973% return on every dollar that we invested into our projects. And we're measuring that continued impact as well. So it's not just, hey, let's cut checks and throw it in this great wishing well and slap a job well done sticker on the side of it. Our team is involved with every step of this. I mean, walking with our partners, helping them grow, and then cheering them on. Then we get to exit them and watch them fly and do amazing things.
That's so cool.
That's amazing. Now,
Pretty
when
fun.
you say exit them, what does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah. Good question.
We're kicking you out of the program.
I mean, essentially, yeah, we don't want our partners to have to be reliant on us forever, right? So they get to go, and once they've got that stable base and their funding is growing, I mean, we just saw one of our partners, Becca, I might have told you. So we partnered up with them probably 6 years ago, and they have just been flying through our system. Like every single piece we've given them, videos, like everything. This is a group working in the Middle East and North Africa. They are doing absolutely game-changing work. I mean, from rescuing children from cages that were being held by ISIS
Oh my
to
goodness.
representing Yazidi sex slaves at the UN. This organization is doing absolutely incredible work, but they were completely stuck in their funding. Like every family member, every business that they knew, everybody was giving to their capacity, and they didn't have a chance to go and invite others to this incredible work. Well, like I said, we gave them, I mean, everything that we could produce, we were, and the team is doing outstanding work. This last year, they raised over $4.3 million. They led the civilian evacuation of Afghanistan and are just spreading to do more and more and more great work. Like, that's why we're support only. And that's how we can bring businesses from across the country directly to the fight against human trafficking and do it in a way that we can measure, and that's going to do the most lasting good.
I know that's, bringing businesses to the fight. That's one of the ways that we got connected was at the Hatch Conference Summit last summer.
Yeah.
We did this whole charity auction that all the proceeds went to Unseen. But I'd never heard about it before that weekend. And so it was really amazing to be able to be introduced to this organization, because I know I've been very passionate about human rights and women's rights and all that stuff. So you always see this stuff. You want to be able to be involved in it, but I cannot go out and save somebody or put together a sting or do any of this crazy stuff that you see people doing on social media now and all this stuff. So having this ability to, I guess, have some sort of impact on what's happening without having to put myself in danger in a sense is really nice. And it's really incredible what you guys are doing. And let me stop rambling, because I can get too passionate about this.
No, that's good.
And it's not the Rebecca show.
Well, and if I can ask a question, so with everything that you see, I mean, this is obviously a huge problem, and there's just so many people affected by it. But when these organizations reach out, what is their biggest need? Like, are you seeing like there's one thing that is like the big need, or is it just a whole gamut of things?
Yeah, I mean, the short answer is finances, right? Like, they are not in it for the money, and that's clear.
Yeah.
A good visual is the organizations that we're dealing with are often having to tell the kids that are just outside their reach, like, hold on, help's on its way. For us to be able to come in and say yes to a partner, like, because, yeah, Becca dove in, threw her number up at the auction, and was all in for this thing. That night, the Hatch Summit raised $400,000 in about 45 minutes for Unseen.
That's
like, we saw business owners from across the country, like, not okay with the fact that we have 13.5 million kids living in slavery, and then stepping up and doing something about it. Because when we get to say yes to a partner, they get to go say yes to that kid who's just outside their reach. And again, it's really, really difficult for a partner to qualify for an Unseen partnership. So these are highly vetted organizations that, again, have a history of success and a clear vision for growth. Like, that's what we're looking for. And so when we find those awesome groups ready to go, it's like, all right, if funding is what you need, we can help solve some of those issues for you, and you're going to get funding. People are going to say yes. We've seen it happen time and time again. And then they get to go out and reach more. That is the simple answer, though. I mean, because our partners are working the whole gamut from prevention, like, let's keep kids out in the first place, to protection and aftercare, like after there is a trafficked event. How do we get those kids and families safe, recovered, and on the road to health? Then they get into prosecution. So how do we get the bad guys and actually get them locked away? And finally, we have partners that deal with system and law change. Like, how do we disincentivize slavery as an industry? How do we make it harder to traffic people? How do we make it less profitable? And so you can see on that spectrum, that's the portfolio of Unseen. So yes, finances, like, we need stable funding for Unseen partners, but also they're working out those very complex details on what else is involved in fighting trafficking.
Than, where are you from originally?
I'm from right around here. So,
right around there?
Yep.
Well, your name's unique. Than is a unique name.
Yeah, when I'm in Thailand, like it's actually a Thai name. People don't really know what to call me. It's short for Nathaniel.
Nathaniel. Okay.
Yeah, so
That's cool. So when you're growing up, you get involved with, did you get involved with military first or firefighting first?
yes, and so it's yeah, I was actually down at the Lewis F. Garland Fire Academy on Goodfellow Air Force Base in Texas. So I was a firefighter with the Air National Guard.
I took firefighter training way back in the day. Well, not that
I could
far.
see I could see that glimmer in your eye. I knew there
Yeah,
was
I thought it was so cool. I
common
thought, you know what I
bonds.
thought was the coolest part of this? I mean, this is like really derailing the conversation here, but the gear is really cool.
It is until you're like hour 12 having to wear it in
And wearing
Texas
it.
heat.
Yeah. I didn't have to do all that much. It was for a volunteer. I used to live out in the country, and there was a volunteer fire department. So I volunteered and we had to
that's
go
the way
for
to
a
go.
couple of days. But so how did you get involved with the human trafficking side? Like what?
Yeah,
Where's the path that you were on that went, whoop, I'm going to go over here?
the path would be my co-founder. So like we said, Fargo and Seoul, right? She was involved with a lot of underground documentation of girls who had been trafficked, a lot from the Philippines. And we connected. I said, hey, here's the idea. She said, all right, well, we got a lot of work to do. And we hit the road. From there, I found myself very quickly interviewing two little girls who, at 5 and 7, their mom owed a $300 debt in northern Thailand to a gentleman in Bangkok, and they were the collateral for that debt. And the only reason that these two little ones were not in a horrible, horrible spot was Unseen's partner that said these kids aren't going to get sold. We're going to do everything in our power to keep them safe. And they did just that. So sitting across from these two little ones in a gorgeous teak school that they were a part of in northern Thailand, surrounded by people who were champions for them and doing everything that it took to keep them safe. That was my real introduction to the anti-trafficking world.
Wow.
I'm gonna share it's a couple of images from your website. It's 50 million people. It affects an estimated 50 million people. It remains the top 3 criminal industries in the world, generating $150 billion annually. That is nuts. It's what is wilder to me, I guess, is until this recent movie that came out, which I want to ask you some questions regarding that too. But until that recent movie came out, it was, for the most part, something that is not focused in a lot. Why do you think that is when people are so passionate about children and education and all kinds of stuff? Why is this something that people just kind of turn a blind eye to?
I don't know if I'm the right person to answer that one. I truly don't know. And I've been asking that question for 12 years now. Because when you do know what's going on, I mean, there's the classic line, like, you can't say that you didn't know anymore, right? So then it becomes, all right, now what? And the movie has opened up a lot of great conversations about, like, how do we actually end trafficking? Like, what's driving this? Why are all these kids so vulnerable? Why is this huge jump? I mean, we just jumped from 40 to 50 million people in slavery. That covers labor trafficking, sex trafficking, and forced marriage. Forced marriage wasn't even considered a form of trafficking until recently.
Really?
And
Wow.
yeah. And that one, I mean, we could talk for days, but we're seeing some really encouraging things on that front. We have a partner that was simply bringing in education opportunities to little girls, and that was driving child marriage like down, eliminating it, because all of a sudden you just educated 50% more of your population, and these little girls were adding tremendous value to their communities.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing radical Islam down, you're seeing child marriage down, and education rates are up. We live in a constant tension, right? We have the tension of, we are celebrating every single kid that we get out of this, every mom that doesn't have to be put in these really, really horrible choices, like, which kid do I feed today, and which one has to go in this, job opportunity that they know or don't, where it ends. Like, we celebrate every victory that we get, but we also know that we are firmly planted in a very broken world, and we've got a lot more work to do.
I was really surprised when I read on the website that the majority of the trafficking is for like labor and having workers. Because I don't think we necessarily
Yeah.
think about that aspect of it. I think when you think of trafficking, most people are thinking about sex slavery and that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But it's, what was it, like 39% or maybe it's 50% of it is more for having laborers, forced labor.
It's kind of interesting. There's a couple reasons for that. Sex trafficking accounts for just 12% of all trafficking globally. 12%. However, it's the most profitable and it's the most prevalent here in the US, or it's the most reported. I think that is obviously a big one. The other one, I think, is we all like cheap stuff.
Yep.
Like it's an economics play. And so, until we're ready to ask some really difficult questions, and even if we are asking those questions, I don't think we always want to know the answer. And history has shown that we're probably not going to change that much when it comes to our spending habits. And so, hey, if you don't want your lettuce to be $40 a head, well, somebody else is figuring it out. It's somebody else's problem. And that's where, this isn't a matter of it's all on the government, it's all on police, or it's all on nonprofits. Like it has to be a combination of all of those efforts with the backing of business owners and people who actually want to see kids in a better spot, like working together. So that's where we get this awesome vantage point, right? It's like we just get to invite everybody to the party. Like, all right, Becca, you're already in the party. Great. Here's what your dollars did.
Yeah.
And
That's
I don't
cool.
know if you're getting our impact reports, but we've got quarterly reports now with one of our projects that two entrepreneurs actually very recently started called Calling Guardians, that is simply asking business owners across the country to join $1 a day per employee fight against trafficking. Like that's it. Stupidly simple and completely frictionless. So like, okay, so not all of us are as big as Microsoft. We don't have the HR power that that company has, but Microsoft has a great employee match program. Any employee that donates, Microsoft will donate $1. Well, this has flipped all of that upside down to say, you don't have to do a thing. Get out of bed and come to work, and $1 is going to fight human trafficking. Quarterly report goes out. It's awesome. Yeah, that's just Calling Guardians. That's it. So they bought callingguardians.com, and they are on a kick to get as many businesses jumping into this thing as possible. And it's really cool because then we get to send a quarterly impact report out to, say, Becca, and you get to send it to all of your employees. So your admin that is killing it day in and day out, all of a sudden it's not just about coming in, answering the phone and sending emails. You get to put some purpose behind why your team is getting out of bed and going to work every day.
And it's so simple. It's $1 a day.
That's it.
It's not like breaking the bank, but it makes such a huge difference across the world.
Oh, it's
in
huge.
What you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's massive because that gives my team the stability and the predictability to be able to say yes and be strategic in our approach for those that we need to get commitments to.
You mentioned earlier at the Hatch thing, you guys raised like $400,000. Could you put like what impact did that amount of money have? Like, could you say like we supported 2 places and they ran 5 missions and saved 100? Like, could you put something like that to that amount?
Not simply, not that easily, but I can say that that was a significant chunk of our budget. And this last year, our partners directly served over 136,000 people around the world.
Wow.
And so the math is there, but like that was a massive impact for us last year. Plus, it was an amazing night. I mean, Ben Kinney and a guy named Andrew Abernathy split a $55,000 pie together. And
Store-bought apple pie.
I was like, the estimated value of this is like $8, and it was made within the last 4 days.
Just went way up.
Opening bid, $5,000. It was
Did it have
awesome.
Cool Whip on it, or was it just?
That would have been extra.
Yeah, because the
That wasn't
Cool
in the
Whip would have
budget.
been the real.
I don't
that
even know
would've
if
been
they
the
ate the pie.
That was one of Ben's caveats. Was we will eat this in front of everyone right now.
Okay,
Nice.
I missed that part clearly.
Awesome. Well, and I only asked that question because sometimes when there's these, it's such a big thing, right? We're talking about all of these people all around the world, and sometimes it just becomes something that's too big, where people think that their donation doesn't have an impact. Oh, what can I do? I'm just one person, and so I only asked because hearing that 400,000, big part of the budget, 136. I mean, that's huge. You're not taking
Yeah.
hundreds of millions of dollars. 400,000.
Yeah.
For a lot of the people in our industry, that's a year's income. And to affect that many people, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, to hear that $300 can save 2 children from being sold. That's
wild.
simple. Like, how could we not give $300 to
Yeah.
save one person?
Yeah.
Much less 2.
Yeah, it's so funny how that like we forget that when it's not directly in front of us.
Mm.
And I'm guilty of that same thing. Like, this is not a, everybody else needs to step up. Like, when you're sitting across from the kid that has just been rescued. One of the gentlemen that bought that pie actually joined us in Chiang Mai, Thailand this last year. And I got to introduce him to some of the people that he's been impacting, that you were impacted, Becca, by giving as well. And he got to see the full scale of, I mean, he was speaking in the children's home with the little girls who've been kept out of trafficking and will be kept out and will have a chance to go to college and all these amazing things. He also got to be a part of investigations that night that we were out, and he saw 3 pedophiles that were looking for little kids, bragging about the 7 and 8-year-olds that they had just bought the night before.
Disgusting.
It's right there. And once you see it, once you get that invitation, then it's on you. Like, okay, we have 13.5 million kids waiting for help right now. This is not the biggest check in the world. This is, what are you going to do? Here's your invitation. What's your response?
So I know you have kiddos, and they're obviously seeing some of what you're doing. How much do they really know about all of this, and how much are you kind of shielding them from?
Yeah,
if anything.
Yeah, that's a great question, and one that my wife and I are, we'll talk through, and they're picking up on a lot. They're 7 and 9 now, and so they know that Unseen helps kids. That's kind of what they leave it at is Unseen works with great people and they help kids, and we're fine with it there. I mean, my 7-year-old,
you don't necessarily need to terrify them about what's out there.
And like they got to come to Thailand, and they got to go to the children's home. So my daughter was a hit at the girls' home. Like, she disappeared. Like, they just surrounded her, and then she came back with like her hair in an updo with flowers, and she was just having a ball. Not so much for my 9-year-old son. So
he didn't get an updo when he went.
That's funny.
Yeah, so it's one that it's really cool being able to just introduce our kids to the fact that you can do great work, right? I look at all these people that Unseen gets to work with. They've got families, their kids are involved with, just being a part of some of the family business. The family business just happens to include like taking care of a lot of people. And it's been really fun just to be able to have them as a part of it.
How do you run a company like this? Because I assume like a huge part of your focus has to be on running lean. I just looked at your About Us page, and there's like 9 people, which that's pretty lean given the breadth of the organization that you're running. How do you run an operation like this when you know $300 will save 2 kids, and you're determining like, well, should we buy this thing or not?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, how do you not have that gut wrenching feeling all the time? Like, I need a new camera, but do I really need a new camera? Like, how do you manage that in just thought process? And also, practically, how do you run so lean in order to give more where it needs to go?
We love contractors for a couple of reasons. And this has been since day one, because getting networked, with some incredible talent, gave us a shot to, it was our chance to produce the highest quality products out there. So, I could hire a really talented, let's just say, video guy at what, $200,000 a year, or I could let the Discovery Channel pay that bill, keep them sharp in their game, and then give them a chance to be a part of some really amazing projects, but one a year, one every 5 years, whatever it is. And so our creative network is across the nation with some absolutely just amazing people, but you're not going to see them fully employed on our website. Because one, yes, you're right, we need to keep things lean, but two, it's just a better way to operate. And yeah, unlike a lot of businesses, our stuff gets published, and people are, very aware of certain organizations out there that have unfortunately just wasted donor dollars. And that's not what we are interested in at all. So that's why, like, if you go to our annual report, that's where you'll see the financials are really transparent. And not only are we looking at what we spend, but we're asking that question of what's the true impact here. Dan Pelota had a great TED talk on this. He said, we've become so obsessed with asking about the size of the pie, like the size of the slice, that we forget to ask how big the pie is. I think his example was you could.
Was it the pizza? Did he talk about the extra large pizza and the small pizza and just cutting one piece? Was it him that did that?
No, I don't think so.
I always have a food frame of reference for a lot of analogies.
Oh, you'll like this one then. He described a bake sale. So he said you could be running a bake sale, right? So we're going to start this thing to raise money to fight trafficking, and I could spend $40 on ingredients and raise $400, and people might go, wow, your administrative costs are really low. Okay. Or I could spend $1 million, go out and raise 50 million, and people could say, wow, that is, ooh, boy, you spent $1 million to go do something, without forgetting, hey, you just raised $50 million. Or I think his example is maybe even, let's just say egregiously 25 million to go raise 50. If you're not looking at the impact, you're forgetting what's really important here. So we do track all of that, and that's why we have included those ROIs, because we want to see, like, our products should be working. So are they? Yes, they are.
That's cool.
Like, I'm not going to leave that question unanswered. They are working.
We'll answer that question right away. So have if someone wants to volunteer to work with you as a creative, what do they do?
Yeah. If you go to our website, I think there's on the Get Involved section, there's just an application process for folks to apply.
Like the freelance.
Ray's going to be applying.
Right? Yep, there it is.
In a few minutes.
I'm pretty rad at Canva, my friend.
Hey, jump on in. Canva's great.
There you go. So make a difference. Here's the little thing to apply. So I just went to their website. At the very top, it says freelance. You can click that and walk yourself through there. So there you go. View our products. There you go. We're currently recruiting graphic designers, webflow designers, plus developers and other positions, film and photography. Yeah, this seems like a no-brainer for somebody that wants to kind of express a more creative storytelling side of their profession. Meanwhile, they stand behind a camera all day shooting the news, or they stand behind a camera all day shooting these business owners that have no idea what they want to do, but they're trying to create a sizzle reel to sell something. Yeah. And then there comes a point in that videographer's career where their creative is not scratched, and they have to find that. And so a lot of them will do their own independent projects, or will find something, but this would be a great resource for that, just to kind of let that outlet,
absolutely
be creative. And I love this idea. I wish I was a better videographer.
I wish I was too.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Discovery Channel earlier, and I know that before all of this, you were like a documentary filmmaker, you were a broadcast journalist. Is that where you got established with a lot of these different connections that you have?
Yeah, in the earliest days it was, and I think I knew enough to be dangerous enough to have conversations with folks. But I joke that my biggest contribution has been not being that great at anything, but being able to ask for a lot of help. And so early on, getting to just conferences we were at, like, I just walk up to guys with nice gear, talk about, like, hey, great lens. I know where you got that one. Do you want to go to the Philippines and go do some awesome work? Like, great. That's how our friend Eli got involved. And yeah, now he runs Shark Tank or Shark Week and is doing like adventure films around the world. Yeah, he's amazing.
That's cool. Yeah.
So you just
Great
know how
lens.
to target the right people, ask the right questions.
I think I'm just good at finding really great people and surrounding myself with them constantly. Yeah.
Is that kind of your main thing with the company, with Unseen, is creating those connections or connecting different people together to get it all done?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big part of it. Yeah, one of my friends likes to joke that a lot of us in these like nonprofit leadership roles, it's a very simple job type or job description of just figure it out. Like, that's kind of it. Just, all right, here's the clear vision. Go figure it out.
Go make it happen.
That's it.
I love it. That's kind of like my favorite advice, where I just say, do better. I'm not going to give you any specifics. Just don't do that. Do better.
I have a shirt with that on it, actually. I love
Do you
better.
really?
Yeah, I do. It
You're
was
welcome.
actually Raymond Beard. Was it? I think it's Beard. It's a beard company owned by a bunch of guys who look very much like Ray, and one of the taglines is just "Do better." So I was like, "Oh, I like that shirt." So I got the shirt.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And then
it
you
sounds
grew a
like
beard to go with it.
I already had the beard. That's why I was searching beard company. Come on, Becca. Chicken egg.
Should've
Chicken
known.
egg.
It was aspirational purchase.
Yeah, but it sounds like what Dan does is the same thing we do, right? We don't really do. We just connect and figure it out. But maybe we should all start an organization, and we can just
Like,
figure
no,
it
you
out.
don't need to. I actually started a great one. You can just
I
support
was
that.
going to say, sounds like he's got a pretty good one.
Right?
The model has been built. We don't need to
Yeah.
rebuild it.
We get this real estate
if
stuff.
you're looking for another cool shirt, you just we've got a group that's riding bikes across America for Unseen right now.
Oh, that's right.
It's called Team BAT, Team Bike Against Traffic. Oh,
Okay.
Quick plug, they got awesome stickers and they made shirts that say do something that does something.
Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot.
They are picking up steam. Yeah, they
Against
started all of
traffic.
it themselves. They approached us and they said, "Hey, we want to do this. Would that be okay?" We said, "We have so much work to do." Yes, and it's amazing group of just very cool people.
Ray, did you
doing
find it
some-
yet?
Yeah, I found it. It's hilarious though, because I thought, so I was searching, I was like, no, that can't be it. That can't be it. Because what I was looking at is something called Bike Against Traffic. And that is what you said. But when you think about biking against traffic, that's a
Going
different.
head on into traffic.
So I love that that's a great, as far as biking culture goes, that's a really great one. So yeah, this is their Instagram, Bike Against Traffic, nonprofit fighting human trafficking through biking. Currently cycling coast to coast. This is great.
Nice.
They actually had a documentary filmmaker from, I want to say Switzerland. I took an extended leave from his full-time job and is documenting their entire ride and is going to be putting it into a film.
Wow.
I just think it's so crazy.
That's very cool.
That, it's like you're grabbing someone with a cool lens and taking them to the Philippines. Now you get this guy from, halfway across the world coming over to document these guys riding bikes over here. It's just, it's nuts how, just in today's world, you can connect with someone clear across the world on something that just kind of hits you right in the feels, and just go help.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No, absolutely. And it's almost like there aren't many excuses left. We're kind of out of them.
Yeah. Seriously.
Especially as widespread as the message is, as widespread as it's becoming, and the more people that are becoming aware of it and the more that it's out there. I mean, there's really no excuse to continue to operate how some of these companies, American companies, are operating even.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yes. But, as long as people are putting their dollar with those companies,
Consumer demand. Yeah.
they're going to keep doing that. So I know you guys have been doing this, 13 years, Than?
Roughly. Yeah. Probably 12 on the safe side.
What do you see as the future of Unseen, or where are you guys wanting it to go from here?
Yeah. Oh, it's, we just had 18 new applications for partnership covering, I think it was 16 countries. There is not a shortage of work to be done. The opposite. And, I think on the encouraging side, we are seeing business owners across the country step up. A lot of them from Real. I didn't realize that Real was in all caps. Like, oh, that And it has been so cool. I mean, Eric Hatch has just inspired so many people to like lead with generosity, and a lot of folks are following that same model. And so, you know, we have pockets in Denver, in Scottsdale, up into Portland, Oregon, and I mean, stretching across the country, of people who are really not okay with the number of people that are trafficked, looking for answers, asking great questions, and then just taking a stand and fighting human trafficking. And so the future is looking very bright. Again, it's that tension, right? Like it's very bright because it is against a very dark backdrop. And we're aware of just how much we have to do, and inviting everybody to come and be a part of it.
I have so many more questions about all of this, of course. And like you said before, we could probably discuss all of this for days and days, but also mindful of your time. So is there anything else that you want us to be like really focusing on? I know we have Calling Guardians, which is, like you said, $1 a day per employee is a great way to raise money for Unseen. Is there any other way that we as business owners and leaders in our community can be getting involved with this?
Yeah, you know, I think callingguardians.com is probably going to be a great one. If you just want more info, like if you want to take a deep dive, the website that y'all have been bringing up is a great place to start. So that's just the Unseen website, weareunseen.org. And, you know, we've had businesses that have been surprising us too, hosting their own fundraisers, just getting little groups together, talking about what they can do. And then like, oftentimes it takes one person saying, hey, we're not okay with this, we're going to do something. And then you realize, hey, everybody else is actually kind of on that same page. And so, yeah, if you want to get involved, shoot us a note, let me know. Our team is great about just getting in contact. We've got press materials if you want to host your own fundraiser. But again, probably the easiest one, the panic button, is just hitting that Calling Guardians submit form. And that's a great way to get instantly involved.
Awesome.
I'll share that so people can see what that looks like. Wait, there it is. Sorry. So bring your team to the fight against human trafficking. $1 a day per employee to fight human trafficking. So you just click the join now and go, right?
That's it. Yep. Quarterly impact report gets sent directly to your team after that.
Ray, Rick, do you guys have any final questions for Than before we let him go off and continue saving the world?
Not a question, but just kind of as a side note, I've got some friends of mine who are former military that are involved in some of these organizations that disappear and come back with kids every now and again. And so just on their behalf, I just want to thank you for doing this, because I know for them, the support enables them to carry out those missions. So I was unaware of you guys until just now. So I've already signed up for emails, and I sent your website to my wife because she's in charge of the donations. But no, this is awesome. So yeah, a huge thank you.
Oh, well, thank you guys. It's
I think it's pretty rad because there's you know, oftentimes we see kind of the rescue side, and we hear, when we do hear of it, that's kind of the part that we hear. But what you don't hear is everything that went in to make that happen.
Yeah.
Like the, you know, the cabs that were paid for, and the, you know, everything that is just covered. So yeah, I appreciate what you're doing for sure. On a less well, it's not really business, because it's not for profit, but on a less businessy side of it, what do you know, you're running this, you have a lot going on. Where do you find time to like chill? And then what do you do?
I think I'm doing an okay job of it. My wife may disagree. But
Heard.
yeah, you know, it's we are absolutely loving just getting to hang out with our kiddos.
Yeah.
I'm in jiu-jitsu as well, so that's been
nice.
a blast.
Nice.
Yeah.
What
Blue. I got my blue in February. Yeah.
Way to
Very
go.
nice. I've 4 stripes on my white belt, so I'm not blue just yet.
Yeah, I
Getting
feel
there.
like I've got 5 stripes on my white belt. That's about it. Yeah, and so I've been loving just that. And Craig Grochel's great speaker, leadership coach, all that. And he said, you should really have one thing that keeps you constantly humbled. And for him, it was jujitsu. I was like, yep, that is way too accurate. So, yeah,
That's phenomenal.
enjoying that.
You should do one thing that keeps you humbled. That's great.
Yeah,
Go get beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
jujitsu
it.
will do it. When the new kid rolls in and like chokes you out in the first 30 seconds, that humbles you real quick.
That's my first question. Is like, hey man, welcome to the gym. How many years have you wrestled? Like 8. I'm in trouble.
Yeah,
Got that cauliflower ear.
wrestlers are rough.
Something's up.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
we're
fantastic.
we're working on that whole balance game. Growing unseen is an absolute blast as well.
Yeah. It really, I've heard people say, well, it doesn't really feel like work when you enjoy what you do. And that is, whenever you get to that point where you really love what you do and you love the parts, it is hard to pull away because you do enjoy it. It's like, it does kind of become the hobby. The thing that I've picked up recently, I do CrossFit. That keeps me humbled, but I've picked up golf recently.
Yeah.
So I'm late in life at golf. And that, like, I don't know what is wrong with my hands. Why is the ball going like a totally different direction than I
Who
want to
needs
go?
that amount of stress in their life? I mean, golf is
Just got a foot wedge. That's all.
Well, foot wet. So the funny part for me though is, so many people think that type of thing is stressful, but when you're dealing with a lot, and even though I enjoy real estate, right now, like I was saying in the pre-show, we had like 25 deals pending and there's just a lot going on. And even a couple of text messages that I had to respond to, right? So there was, all that is happening, but you can step away from something and forget about it for like 30 minutes to an hour. And then when you look at it again, your eyes are different. You see it with a different perspective completely because you've gone and kind of dealt with something that maybe does humble you a little bit, but it's an exercise, whether it be physical or mental, that has nothing to do with everything that's going on. And for me, that's better than stepping away and trying to get a drink or stepping away and just trying to take a breath. That doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't clear my mind. I'm still thinking. So if I can do something that's relatively physical and difficult, then, and I'm not saying that a lot of people are like, golf's not a sport, it's not very hard. Okay, maybe you're right, but it is hard. It's hard to do.
Very hard.
For me, it's very hard to do correctly. So when you can step away and focus on something that's difficult for a while, then when you look back at the stuff you're dealing with every day, that seems way easier.
And that was one thing I loved about jujitsu, though. It's not just the physical aspect, and then you can attest to this. It's such a mental chess game. Like when you're on the mat and you're fighting for position and grips, and I mean, you're constantly defending against 15 different attacks and thinking about. I mean, it really is. It's as mentally exhausting as it is physically exhausting, and that was the kind of release and the getaway that I needed to complete, because you can't think about the deal or the client, or because your brain is, I mean, if you don't focus, that kid's going to choke you out. And you're going to wake up 5 minutes later with like the coach fanning you like, hey man, you're okay. And nobody wants that kind of embarrassment.
Smell this.
You think about the deal, and all of a sudden he's on your back choking you out. You're like, no, that's not going to work.
Very much so.
Rick, you still do it, Rick?
I took some time off because I got injured. So, and now that I'm turning 50 this year, I'm just wondering, is the
You're turning 50?
Yeah.
You started
pretty
getting
good,
choked
don't I?
out by
You
16-year-olds.
look so young.
Thanks, man.
You look so young to
Get
me.
that on the tape. Make sure you got
You
that.
look young. Yeah, maybe it's because I'm old. Maybe that's why you look young.
No, I turned 50 this year, so I don't know if the threat of injury is worth. I don't know. I'm trying to, checks and balances.
Evaluate.
Yeah, I mean, I want to travel and
Getting the senior. Getting the
Danaher
senior
actually
crowd,
has
the
a really
elder.
good series on jujitsu as you're getting older.
yeah.
And talks about, because I got my weird jujitsu fingers now, and so it was actually really
That's a
helpful.
thing?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yes.
Because the
Yeah.
grips you have to
Never
grip
doing
so hard.
jujitsu.
It's fun.
It's awesome.
For you
It's really
guys.
fun. Yeah.
It's a
This
fun-
sounds
I
horrible.
love it.
You're gonna get choked
I
out.
love
You're gonna
it.
get weird fingers. Like,
We-
what is
we
enjoyable
tell you all
about
the bad
this?
stuff, but then we love it.
It's great.
I was in
It's a
I
man
was
thing.
I was in martial arts of like 3 different kinds of martial arts growing up for like 14 years. I loved it. But there is a point where you're like, oh, that's kind of that's kind of making me look weird.
I think everybody
And
should
on that
try
note-
it. Everybody should try it.
They should,
And
yeah.
At least
Yeah.
once. Okay.
Everybody should do jujitsu. Everyone should wait tables, and I think everyone should do like a tour in the military.
Yes.
Yep. Check.
Yeah, I think if
Worked
everyone
out.
does that, we're better.
Than's got it all.
And I will say this: there's something really special happening in real estate right now, and maybe it's just the great people that I've been surrounded by, but it's not isolated to one part of the country. It's not isolated to one company. Do you all know Nick Shivers? Nick is a buddy that I met through our friend Eric. Nick called me the other day. He goes, hey hey, I like to pick one home every quarter and let people do whatever they want with my commission. He had just sold this monster up in Portland and turned it over to his client. And he said, hey, I really like this group Unseen. And we just get a $25,000 check because Nick gave up this mega commission and does that every quarter. Like Nick is another one of those guys leading with generosity, but now
That's cool.
that is no longer a one-off case. Like we're seeing this really cool thing happen, and it is such an honor to be a part of. So thank you guys for giving me the platform here today and share a little bit. And again, congrats on the podcast. This is really fun.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, and thanks for giving us the opportunity and the ability to be involved in this as well. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, hit me up next time you need some more ramblings about really bad stuff in the world and all the good that is possible.
Yeah.
Anytime. Yeah. We'll have you on next week.
I'll talk to you. I'll be in your DMs about Chiang Mai.
Yeah, please do. We'll be there.
It only takes an entire day to travel there. So that's it.
It's fine.
No biggie.
You'll be fine.
No biggie.
It's like traveling to Fargo. You got to take like 10 flights to get in.
Similar.
Shots fired. Worth it.
It is.
Well, thanks again for joining us, man. We'll see you later.
Thanks. See y'all.
Bye, Dan.
Awesome guest.
Very cool.
Awesome guest.
I was surprised. He actually looked familiar to me, and I didn't place it. But the reason was I watched the when Hatch was doing it, I saw pictures of him and the I don't know if he was there or what, but for some reason he looked familiar with the
Hatch
thing.
Summit.
Yeah,
he was there. He was.
That must have been one.
Yeah, one of the
Very
speakers.
cool.
I think at one of the times.
Oh, when he started talking about the kids, I don't know if you guys saw me, but like ever since Olivia was born, like when there's kids involved, like I cry like a baby constantly. And so I was like, oh shit. I was like, don't start crying on camera. Like this is too early in the episode to start crying over here. Like I'm gonna turn my camera off. But yeah, that's
no, I
crazy.
was too
Such a good
busy
organization.
blinking my own tears
I know,
out of
I
my
saw you.
eyes.
Yeah.
And
I was like, you can't cry until Rebecca does.
I just had to busy my mind on like, okay, I'm gonna find this website for him. I can't listen to all that stuff. But no, I think, he kind of said it too, but I asked him, why are so many people kind of resistant to pay attention to this type of thing? And I think one of the answers is because it makes people feel so bad. They feel
You
like
have to confront it, right? When it's
like I can't do anything about Apple hiring kids to make this iPhone. Right. I'm not saying they do, allegedly, whatever.
Yeah.
I can't do anything about it. Can I? Well, you can now. Now you know. So I don't know. I think maybe hopefully organizations like that will become the outlet for people that whenever they hear that, they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm just going to give something to this company because I know that they're going to take this money, or this organization, because they're going to take the money and do the good with it that they should do.
Yeah. On
Especially-
a bigger scale than what we can do.
Yeah.
And I know Beck said it a few times, like the $300 per kid, like
For two kids, right?
For two kids.
Yeah, $300 for two kids.
Obviously, it's not going to be 300 every single time, but
but once that
this
math
is an
is in
example.
your head,
Yeah.
when you're like the other day, you guys both know Nate down in Sarasota. Like he still hasn't made any videos on his YouTube channel, and he's asking about, do I buy a GoPro or an Insta360? I'm like, dude, just make a video.
Yeah.
But like now, if you're
phone.
going to drop like another $1,000 on a camera, like in my mind, like I'm going to make that $300. Like I'm going to do that equation. I'm like, oh no, I'm not buying an Insta360.
That's why I asked him the question, because there's a purchase item that's been on my list. That's a total, in my opinion, it's a fluff item, but it's something that I could really honestly use in business because I have a plan for it.
Now.
It's going to be really fun. I know. Well, so I think I will eventually, but I have to make sure that when I get it, not only do I get it and then I get the ROI that I need off of it, but now I'm like, oh, well, I want to get the ROI plus. Let me see if I can 10x it and then give some of that. So it's just a different way to evaluate. But that's why I asked him that question, like, how do you evaluate? Well, we need a camera, but if I take $300 from this donation in order to get that camera, then I'm not saving two kids. Yeah. And so it was interesting in what he thought about the impact of the purchase and not just the expense. And so for business too, I don't, it's kind of sounds bad relating it all to business, but they have to run an effective organization and business to be able to provide the funds.
Yeah.
So from the business perspective, I love that analysis where they're not just looking at the expense, but they are just looking at the impact and expense. So
do you guys do anything like he was talking about at the end, like where, he just turned over one of his commission checks? Do you guys do anything like that in your business? Do you have like a big thing you put money towards, or an organization that is kind of near and dear to you guys? Do you guys do that?
Not yet, but like when we were talking about it a couple weeks
she's
ago,
like, I
it's
know I
like,
do.
that's
I do now.
amazing. And I'm like, I need to implement this.
yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, it's so easy. And it also
Yeah.
gives your clients a way to be involved as well, where it's like, hey, if
Yeah.
you're working with me, that X amount of every commission or whatever is going to go towards this organization. So it's not just we're money hungry realtors or
Right.
whatever. It's
Yeah.
we're doing this obviously because we have a livelihood that we have to make, but we're also helping people, we're helping our community, and then we're helping a bigger cause in addition to all of that.
Yeah.
And
I used
being able to
do
bring your clients in, I think, I don't know, it's special. It's very,
I
very
feel like you could have like a
community-oriented.
client event and have some special fundraising or something like that. Maybe
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
do that. We do a thing right now where we do 10% of the profits go to charities and such. But I think
love
it'd
Do
be
you pick
nice
the charities,
to
or do you let your clients kind of weigh in on it?
I pick it all.
You do? I used to.
They
I used
get
to
no
gi-
options.
I used to
pick
give
it
them a
up.
list. I used to give them a list
Ooh.
of and it was always military
That's cool.
focused. It was like, Special
Mm.
Operations Transition Fund and the Navy SEAL Foundation. And I would put all that on a list. I'm like, hey, here's some charities that we'd like to support. If there's something else that you would like, yours to go towards, let me know. And usually they would just pick one from the list. But every now and again, there's like someone who had a kid or a friend that was impacted, and they would like, well, I want it to go to the Cancer Foundation or something. So, but we usually just provide them a list and they pick.
That's a
I
good
like
idea.
that. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
I vetted out these organizations.
Yeah,
Who
'cause
would you
some
like
of
to,
'em-
to donate to? Some of them are not good.
Yeah, some
Where
of them are
it's-
not good.
Yeah, you have what 10%
Mhm.
of whatever's coming in that's actually
Yeah.
going towards
Well,
the
and I'm not going to name
cause.
names
No.
with foundations, but I went to a city where the headquarters of a certain veteran foundation is located, and
Mm.
holy shit, it's a nice building. I'm like, yeah, a lot of that money could have gone to the actual veterans. So I no longer support that one.
That's too
It's,
bad.
Yeah, it
That's
was
a
not
shame.
good.
When the charitable organization is supposed to be donating to help wounded veterans is nicer than a veterans hospital. It's like, oh, come on.
This
now.
thing,
Come
I
on.
mean, this looks like a Google place or a Tesla. I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
freaking
Maybe
awesome. It looks
just give
gorgeous.
them the benefit of the doubt. Maybe that was donated to them by someone though. You never know.
Yeah, I
You
don't
never know.
But the
think so.
building,
can
was
happen.
donated.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I'm going to make a
that's not-
donation, but I only want it to go towards your building and your furniture and all of that
that's-
stuff.
People
I
do
don't
that.
want it to-
People make a specific donation for
Mm.
those costs.
Yeah, so they get a
So the-
plaque on the front door or
So the
something.
people, yeah. This
Yeah.
bench was provided by
Yeah.
Rick.
Who
So-
needs a bench? We have a perfectly good ground to sit on.
But like he said, the bench was like $55,000, right? So
Right.
a
It's
couple
a
$100
really
went to
nice
the bench, and then the rest of it went to.
I would allow that. I'm
Yeah,
okay
that's the
with
kind
that.
of thing. That's the kind of. I'm
Yeah.
just giving him the benefit of the doubt.
He's
We don't know
trying.
the specifics.
I'm not buying it, but Ray's trying.
We don't know the specifics.
Ray's trying. Yeah, that's good
Uh,
stuff.
But that was a really cool, good guest, Becca.
Oh,
yeah,
thank you.
good job.
Mhm.
I
Beck's just
appreciate that.
crushing it. Like me and you need to step up,
I know.
right, Beck?
I
I
did
think
bring
the
in a
next
musician this time, and his name wasn't
that's
Matt.
true.
So
There's no
Oh,
musician.
switching it
Yeah.
up a little bit. Actually, I don't know if he has any musical background. I forgot to ask about that.
Yeah.
Oh
he
yeah,
had
we
enough-
did. We did ask. We avoided it. That way, there's no coincidence for Rebecca.
Right.
That's what it is. He wasn't a Matt, and
And there's no music.
no music. Well, cool. Next one, I'm really excited about.
Well, you should. It's your
Yes.
guest.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not excited about your own guest,
Yeah,
then should they really be a
Embarrassing.
guest?
I think y'all are gonna love them.
Oh,
Ooh,
them.
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 Because that's what we do. We say them until we
yeah.
actually reveal who it is.
I was thinking them. Is it like them? Is it multiple? Is it?
No.
Yes.
No, well,
Wait,
that
can
would
we
be
bring
fun.
on multiple
Can we do
guests?
more?
Never
one
done
guest?
that. Well, we make up the rules. We'll have to talk about it. Maybe people, if they've got to this far in the podcast, maybe they should vote some out. Send us a DM. You'll see
So,
multiple,
do you want us to bring on multiple
more
guests?
than one guest.
Can your platform here? Can it do a 5?
No, that's
five-
impossible. That's beyond its technical
Hey,
ability.
I
you
don't
can.
know what the
You
capabilities
can do a whole bunch.
are.
I think it's
Yeah.
I want to say it's up to like 10 or something. But yeah, it's
But
a
the
lot.
question is, will Ray know how to do the format, or will he be asking us again at the beginning?
It's
How do
gonna
I
be-
do this?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
You heard him earlier, right? He's like, as the tech guy,
yeah.
So that guy, I should know how to do this.
I couldn't pull up the website. All right, that's enough.
All right.
All right,
Well,
bye.
I'll
See you
see
next
y'all
time.
later. Bye.
Bye.